It is Friday, May 23rd, 2025, when we are recording this. Atlanta Business Chronicle. Metro Atlanta housing inventory climbs to 10-year high as lockdown effect weakens. All right, so in the article, it says that the average month supply of inventory for April was 4.2, and that's a record high since October of 2014. So what does month supply actually even mean in reality? Well, it means that if no other homes in that price point come on the market, at the current pace that they are selling, it will take 4.2 months for all of those homes to sell. Okay, so now, how does that impact buyers and sellers now? How that shows up is it becomes more balanced. And I would argue that the new normal of a balanced market, meaning that the sellers are not wildly in control or buyers aren't wildly in control, is probably that 4 to 5 month mark. So let's take a look at the actual MLS stats that this article was referencing. And I want you to see how this is still so hyper local, because we can even talk about Metro Atlanta in general, and that still doesn't mean that hyper local cities and areas inside of our city don't have different metrics. So MLS, yes, Atlanta, 4.2 months, absolutely correct. Now, Forsyth County, 4.2 months. But look at Gwinnett County, 3.5 months. However, Suwanee, which is in technically address-wise, Forsyth County and Gwinnett. Now, downtown Suwanee is in Gwinnett, but the mailing address covers Forsyth and Gwinnett. So what does that look like? 3.5 month supply in Metro Atlanta. I'm sorry, in Suwanee. Now, Metro Atlanta, the median percent of original list price to sales price, meaning taking price reductions into account. Prices still were 98.4% of sales price to original list price. Now, if they needed a price reduction, we are looking at that those were getting 100% list price to sales price. So prices are not plummeting. There is a leveling out because we had an artificial spike in valuations that were not real. The appreciation had not really happened yet because demand was so fervent. So that is leveling out because you're expecting a 4 to 5% appreciation rate. And if you go back to 2019 and you say, okay, I had a $300,000 house, if it appreciated at 5%, over those years, you would say, okay, now from 2019, it was worth 300. In 2020, it's worth 5%. Yeah, do that, add 5%. My brain just went blank on the math. Anyways, so that's how you can tell when it's leveling out. Now let's deep dive into the numbers of where we're at right now. All right, new listings, big number. Not a bad thing for buyers. This is good. Buyers, there's nothing wrong with homes that have been on the market for 30, 45 days. What you're really looking for is to go make offers on those. That is where your opportunity is because those are priced high and that's why they haven't gone pending. So new listings, 1,884 hit the market. That is good. That is competition and inventory we need. 4 bedrooms, 2 baths with a median list price of $460,000 back on market. Fallout rate is not terrible, but it's there. 303 homes in the last 7 days, but the median list price on those is $419. Price drops, here we go. This is where we're seeing a big jump. 1,842 homes had a price reduction. And here's the thing, of those, only 33 went pending in the last 7 days. All right, expireds, they removed themselves from the market, 204 withdrawns, removed themselves from the market, 375. Those were always overpriced, or they were overpriced for their condition, or they were not in peak condition. Active under contract, the most recent that went pending, 626 with a median list price. Guys, this is very high, record-breaking number. Prices are not plummeting. $470,000 is the list price median for the homes that went pending in the last 7 days. The ones that are pending, who have been under contract a little longer, 1,186 in the last 7 days. 446,470 is the median list price on those, and closed 1,058, which is an uptick in the amount of closings we've seen in the last 7 days. The median list price on those was $455,778, so not a big differential between the closed median list price and the new listing list price. So on average, people are starting to get a little bit more realistic with what their home is worth. I said starting, not embracing reality 100%, but median sales price on those that closed $458.25. Median days on market was only 17, with a 98.91% sales price to median list price. Right now, pricing is the marketing plan. Absolutely. You need to make sure you are working with an agent who understands the current strategies that are working right now to sell your home or get you a home under contract if you are a buyer, that you can have the most amount of negotiating room. So if you need an agent in any area, please reach out. And if you're an agent that wants to make sure you're pricing correctly, also let me know. Reach out on any platform you are watching this on. Have a great long weekend.